The contractions are now like 3 minutes apart or something.
Oh, guys, the story gets juicy. Hold on. What's up, perfectly blended family, and welcome back to another video. I'm Chantel.
And I'm Greg.
And guys, in this video, Greg and I are going to be talking about our 9-year anniversary. We've been together for 9 years. But before we get into it, guys, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell. So when we drop a new video, you're alerted. Alright, let's get into it. Alright guys, so it's been 9 years since Greg and I have been together, and we're gonna do a little bit of a story time today while Greg does my hair. Alright, so we're just going to shuffle around and we're gonna tell you that story. It's a pretty interesting story, I think. Alright guys, so I gave my hair a little break from the curls, so you guys can see in like the other videos. I'm going back to the curls, but before I go back to the curls, Greg's just gonna cane row my hair into a few cane rows, going back a few. I don't know how many he's gonna do, but we're gonna find out and see if he can actually do it. So
I'll put a few in.
Okay, you remember how to braid?
No, not at all. It's been a while. Do you want me to just get at it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're pretty much going to share our story of how we met, where we are now, and where we're going. So Greg and I met at a local gym back in 2012. At the time, it was just me and Amaya before I met Greg. Amaya was about 10 months old, so he came into her life when she was a baby. You noticed me at the gym.
Yeah, you stood out. You're a new face.
And I approached you.
Yeah, long story short.
Yeah.
You approached me, we chatted, we ended up here.
Yeah. Now, I became a receptionist at the gym we met at shortly after we got together. I got hired on, but at the time, I was at the gym because I just went through a breakup with Amaya's dad, Ryan. So I was there trying to get over it, and a friend had told me to go, so I went.
Listening to your sad musics.
Listening to sad music, and I already told this story. If you guys haven't seen how we met, here it is. Check that story out. Anyways, fast forward to we're going to school, and it was a pretty hectic time because like you were trying to work almost, it was part-time hours, but you had like clients every day. It wasn't like you had clients on a Monday or a Tuesday.
So it was like schoolwork, like constantly, and then homework.
Yeah, it was difficult.
Yeah, I'll try 1, 2, 3. That should work. Do 3 aside.
Okay. So it looks like, guys, I'm getting 6 braids.
Okay, I have not done this before.
You have cane rowed before.
I have cane rowed before. I have not done this in your hair before. I did just the 2 braids one time. That's the extent of me working in your hair. But I've done the cornrows in Amaya's hair. Your texture is very different. It wants to fall certain ways. Guys,
my hair's a hot mess. Anyways, back to the story, sorry. We're at the apartment, Greg's doing school and work. I'm doing school, work, and taking care of Amaya. We are taking care of Amaya. So I met a friend, and my friend's mom worked in the emergency department an hour away from where I live. I remember telling Greg, he's like, just take the experience, because he was doing placement up there, because originally that's where he's from. He knows that area. So he kind of encouraged me to do the job. He's like, you might even see me up there. Starting out in Emerge, being so far from home, I really just didn't enjoy it because everything was so far away from me. I was in a place that I knew no one. Absolutely no one. I didn't even last like a month. I think after like 3 weeks, I told the manager that I couldn't do it. And it was like one thing I actually gave up on, but I felt at the time it was the right decision. So I just continued working at the nursing home as well as doing my master's. And I think it was because I was doing my master's at the time that it was all just too much. Like I couldn't handle master's, caring for Amaya, and driving an hour away from work. So I had like 2 jobs. The other job wasn't too far, but it was close enough. Anyways, I stuck that out. Greg was still in school. And I believe just before I quit, I became pregnant with Jasmine. in 2014.
I'm trying to remember all those dates. Jasmine, we planned.
Yeah.
Jasmine, we wanted to have as an August baby.
She had her own agenda. So I don't know if I ever told you guys how I went into labor at work. Fast forward to 8.5 months, I guess, because Jasmine ended up coming in July. Her due date was August 3rd. So it is July 20th, and I'm working at the nursing home. So 2 weeks before Jasmine's due date. And I get up, and throughout the week, like that week, I was feeling contractions. I shouldn't say contractions, I should say Braxton Hicks. I was feeling the Braxton Hicks. So I get up for work on July 20th, and at 5:30 a.m., I feel the first Braxton Hicks. My shift starts at 6:30. So I go about my day, get dressed, I eat breakfast, I get in the car. Then I feel another one. I'm like, oh, it's really feeling more intense and it's so painful. All right, I don't feel another one until I get to work. So right now, the Braxton Hicks, which were contractions, are all spaced out. So I get to work, and I remember the day so clearly. We were having a doctor's clinic, so the doctor comes and checks the residents that have been written into the doctor's book. So any concerns we had for any residents, the doctor would see those residents on that day. So it was the doctor's clinic. And I'm the charge nurse. There's only one charge nurse and 3 RPNs in the building. So I'm helping to wheel down all these residents. At this time, it's after breakfast, so it must be about like 9 o'clock. And the Braxton Hicks were getting stronger. I'm like, oh my gosh, like I had to keep taking a rest and like breathe, like lean on the wall and then get a resident in their wheelchair and wheel them in line outside where the doctor was. And I remember after a doctor's clinic, it might have been about like 11 o'clock. One of the other nurses was talking to me. But I remember when she was talking, I couldn't concentrate because the Braxton Hicks, I thought were Braxton Hicks, the contractions were so unbearable. I'm just like, I could not breathe. So I'm just like, oh, hold on. Like when she was talking, I'm like, hold on. At this time, how could I not think I'm in labor? Like, how could I not? I always think to myself.
What time was this?
It's like 11 o'clock.
Because it wasn't until like, what time? Like 2 in the afternoon?
That I had to call.
I got a phone call from your mom?
Yeah, and the thing is, guys, I was trying to push it because here in Canada, especially in Ontario, maternity leave with pay, you have to meet a minimum of 600 hours. And because I had quit that job an hour away, and this was my first nursing job, and I was only part-time. No, I was casual, guys. I was casual and then got a part-time position. I wasn't building up the hours fast enough to get paid to be on mat leave for 1 year. So I'm hustling my butt. Like I'm picking up every shift, like night shift, evening shift, day shift. It didn't matter what shift, I was there. I was hustling because I wanted to be home with pay. Anyways, doctor clinic is done at 11. I'm talking to this lady. I'm having contractions. Lunch comes. I go and I eat my lunch. I remember I had like Chinese food. And I'm eating it and I'm feeling these contractions and I'm getting uncomfortable. When they come, I'm like starting to sweat. I'm like, whoo. But I'm not thinking I'm in labor because I'm like, this baby isn't due for another 2 weeks. Anyways,
and I need to get my hours.
And I need to get my hours. I'm not leaving until I get those hours. So I remember during my lunch break, having to take breathers, I call my mom. You know, I really don't feel well. These Braxton Hicks are coming on strong. Mom's like, those aren't Braxton Hicks.
You're in labor.
You're in labor. This is your second baby. The minute she said that, everything came full force. What I didn't mention to you guys is I was 30 minutes away from home. So, and I drove. And I'm in a city where the nearest hospital that has a labor and delivery unit is like 20 to 30 minutes away. And I'm like, I'm not going there. Greg didn't even have a car. He was on a bike.
I had a car. Like, okay.
You didn't have a car.
I had a car. I was going to drive up and meet you. I fully had my car at that time. So it's just that day, I get a phone call from your mom. Tell this girl she's in labor. Her contractions are 6 minutes apart. And then I'm like, wait, what? I had my car. I had the C-brain.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did, Chantal.
No, you didn't.
That day I rode my bike because just for exercise I had rode my bike to the gym. So I was at the gym on my bike. I had to ride home to get the car because I wanted to meet you in Port Perry. I said, I'll meet you at the closest hospital. You're like, no. I'm going to drive home.
Okay.
And I'm like, you're going to drive home?
Oh,
you're like, yeah, I'm okay to drive home. Now you have a story about driving home.
Yeah, but before I drove home, guys, I went to the bathroom and my mucus plug came out. I'm like, oh, like everything just came full force. The minute my mom's like, you're in labor, everything, like mucus coming out of me. I'm like, nope, I'm going back to my city where I'm supposed to give birth to this baby. There's no way, I'm not doing it. So I leave work, got into the car. Now the contractions are like more, like a little closer than 6 minutes. It might have been like 5 minutes. But every time it hits, guys, it squeezes and holds for a minute. And that minute felt like forever. And it almost felt like as I'm driving, the contraction would come when I stepped on the brake. You know when you have a new bike and you press on the brake and you feel like you're going to flip over the bike because the brakes are so sharp? You're not ready for it? That's how I felt driving the car. I would slam on the brakes like that, so tight and holding on, that I felt like the car was gonna flip. Like I was gonna flip the car over because I was just on my toes pressing during the contraction. I'm like, come on. And I'm like trying to breathe. Anyways, guys, it was pretty scary. It was intense driving in labor. Because I was so determined to get back to Greg and to get to the hospital I planned to give birth at.
So I'm just racing home on my bike to meet you. It's like a 20-minute bike ride for me. It's like a half hour from where you were to get home?
Yep.
And then this girl's like, no, I got to shower. So she's just taking her time.
Oh, because like, I have to shower when I come from the nursing home and the hospital. It's just a thing. Like, I just want to be clean. Like, I didn't want to go give birth to my baby. Like, it was just a day, guys. You could just imagine how I felt. Anyway, so I meet Greg there. I take a quick shower and we head over to the hospital. And I remember getting to the hospital and the nurse asking me,
oh my gosh,
how do you know you're in labor? First of all, guys, I could barely get in through the hospital doors, down and around the hall to the labor and delivery unit. Okay? I was on the wall. I'm just like, oh my gosh, I felt like I was gonna faint. Like by this time, my body was so done because I was on my feet at work. Did we say the time I left work? It was about 2:30ish, 3 o'clock, Greg?
Yeah. So it was around 2 that I had got that phone call from your mom.
Okay, so it's been 8 hours on my feet, and I'm exhausted. And I'm just like, I just look clammy. Like, I just look like tired and exhausted, and I barely can breathe. And I'm like, yeah, I'm here because I'm in labor. And she's like, she turns around, she puts her glasses down, she's like, now, how do you know you're in labor?
I swear the contractions came every time she turned her back. You see, like, and like breathing, and she's like digging in a filing cabinet over there.
Yeah, she's trying to find my files because 6 weeks before your due date, you're supposed to hand in your birth plan. So Greg and I did that. So they're just checking for my stuff. So another lady turns around after that lady's giving me attitude, asking me, how do I know I'm in labor? Like, how do I know? I guess a lot of females come and they're not really in labor.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of it. It's Braxton Hicks, and it's their first. They really don't know, and they're just paranoid.
Yeah.
But I think you have a very high pain threshold.
Maybe I do. But
working through that.
Yeah, right? So this other lady turns around on her chair. She's like, look at her! They rush me into the room, check me, and at the time I'm 4 centimeters dilated. Is it
Honey,
4?
you're in labor.
Yeah, I think
it was
it's
like
4.
Yeah, and you're the contractions are now like 3 minutes apart or something.
Oh, guys, the story gets juicy. Hold on. All right, guys, what I didn't mention to you is that I was in the hospital twice before this event. We're talking like weeks.
Oh, that's right.
Because my milk production came in before baby. I had mastitis. So I kept getting a fever. Greg had to take me over to the hospital. And that's what brought baby on. Because when I had the fever...
It was that constant fever, yeah. And that was... Baby was cooking in there. She
was cooking. And it's funny because when I had the fever, I was feeling so cold. So I just kept putting blankets on and blankets on and blankets on and hot showers and...
The doctor, you need to take a cold shower. Chantal's like, I'm going to go as cold as I can.
You already know I don't like cold. So it was so difficult for me. He's like, the best thing to do to bring your fever down is take a cold shower. And I know what y'all are saying, like, you're a nurse, you should know this. I knew this, but when you're in the state of mind, the pain, everything's like, oh man, like, I just wanted to rest. I just want to feel comfortable. And I was most comfortable feeling warm. So anyways, I was in the hospital 2 times before, like we're going to say the span of 2 weeks before I went into labor. They couldn't give me the epidural until they got my blood results back because I was in the hospital for the mastitis because of the infection. Guys, that wait, honestly, that pain kicked my butt so bad, guys. I was bawling in pain. Greg was just standing there.
Don't say I was just standing there.
What were you doing?
I was sitting in the corner.
Why were you in the corner?
Because that's where you wanted me to be.
That's not true. I didn't want you to be there.
I was wherever you wanted me to be.
Didn't you feel bad for me?
I felt so bad. Well, some of it was funny.
Until it got really bad.
Until it got but then you got your epidural, so it wasn't.
I was screaming out, guys. I was like, "Oh Lord!"
I wish I had that on video.
It was terrible.
Because I couldn't tell if you were like being extra or not.
Can you believe this, man? I'm in labor, guys. Labor. Baby's coming out of my...
Oh Lord, she's like squirming. You're squirming in the bed.
Because
like,
I'm uncomfortable.
Well, yeah, you're super uncomfortable. Like, when are they going to get the epidural, man? This is crazy because it's pushing time.
Right, and there's only one anesthesiologist for the entire hospital. So I had to wait.
That's the other thing. So when they say you got the okay, now you got to wait for the anesthesiologist to be able to come by.
Oh, it was so bad. I told myself I will never get pregnant again. Like every time I got the contractions and it held me down there between like my belly and vagina, just I was just like I couldn't take it. It was terrible. Got the epidural and I was an angel. I was a complete angel. I was a different person. I was finally at ease. And then
finally at ease.
Jasmine comes. And the whole process was 4 hours, but it felt like days. Like it felt like I was in there for days.
4 hours, eh?
4 hours and because I pushed one push and she was out?
Yeah, exactly. I was just going to say that.
And we finally get to hold Jasmine. She was amazing the first night. I got full sleep. I woke up, I'm like, oh my gosh, is she still alive? Because she didn't wake up once.
She's still alive. Yeah, she slept through the first night.
She slept through the first night. The second night, she drove us mad. So we finally get to take her home. It's July. I'm on mat leave. I start school again in September.
It was planned because it's when I would be finishing school, you would be finishing school, or you're between and I'd be able to help you,
I'd only have one more year, yeah.
I'm helping you with the masters.
And we wanted to keep the kids close in age. Amaya was already 4, right? I wasn't able to breastfeed Amaya. I tried and I was young. I was like, no, I don't want to do it. I can't do it. It hurts. Amaya's like crunching on my nipple. And we all know breast milk's the best milk you can give your baby if you're able to. So I tried everything in my power to breastfeed. This time with Jasmine, I was determined. So I did. I breastfed Jasmine for almost a year. I think it was like 11 and a half months. She went to daycare and then I stopped. The fact that I was breastfeeding her made it easier because I would just pump, but the milk production didn't come as fast because I was only using one boob. So oftentimes I would put milk in the freezer and I'd be studying at the table and she'd sleep, but then the baby would wake up and she'd be going through bottles. Like I'd pump like 3 bottles over time and Greg would go through it. And then I'm trying to study and he'd bring the baby and I'm like, I honestly just sat down. Like I just fed her before I came here. What do you mean you're done all the bottles? So it was a real battle between him and myself because I just needed a break. The baby's up. I'm up all night studying, like literally 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. Greg's on the couch with her. She's finally sleeping. I'm gonna lay down. The minute I close my eyes, I feel someone come in front of me. It's like, oh, you have to feed the baby. I'm like, I just closed my eyes. Isn't there any milk in the freezer? This is the time when me and Greg would like kick off. It was just due to stress and lack of sleep. Not only that, guys, but I'd had to get up at 7 o'clock in the morning to get Amaya up to go to school when September came around. And I remember being so tired. I was making oats and pouring my orange juice in my oats because of the lack of sleep. Like there was no sleep. And I'm like, when is this life going to be over? I went from...
Man, I was doing the all-nighters with her. I'm walking up and down the halls at 3 o'clock in the morning watching Ghost Adventures. Just threw on my shoulder because she's just wide awake. She was totally nocturnal.
Oh man, Greg got up so upset one night. He's like, I need to sleep. A few nights he did
I'm
that.
still working, so yeah, I can. My hours are like flexible, so I can move things around. But
it was hard.
There was one day where I finally got a chance to take a nap in the afternoon. My goal was to nap for 2 hours, and I woke up after missing like a couple clients. My phone's like full of messages and missed phone calls. Like, what the heck? I can't believe I needed to sleep so bad. I slept through my alarm and well into the evening when I was supposed to be working.
So yeah, at the 4-month mark, Greg's like, that's enough. Puts her into her crib where she was sleeping at the time, and she cried it out. She didn't cry it out long, maybe about 20 minutes, and she slept. And after that, we would just put her down and she'd sleep. And she'd wake up twice for feeding, and that was it. But it was no more all-nighters sleeping all through the day. We survived.
That was a Jasmine story.
Yep. So that was the Jasmine story. What happened next? Finally, I accomplished my master's. I'm a graduate. And now I'm trying to find a job that pays me well. So I'm like in the nursing home and have my master's. I'm like, man, I can do so much better. But the thing is, I don't have the experience to get any jobs. And finding a job as a nurse when I first came out of school was so difficult. I wasn't finding anything. So I applied to all these jobs, things that I'm not qualified for, and I don't get anything. I finally applied to the community in September, and I get called for an interview in November. I totally had forgotten about the job. So I finally get a big girl's job. I'm like, a government job. Yay, it's so great. Now we're going to make money. Now I'm going to be able to like help our family move. So I get the job, and I don't like it because I have to do home visits. You're going into people's homes, and I remember complaining to Greg. I'm like, I'm so grateful it pays well, but you got to go into some homes and you're by yourself and it's not the best. I remember being unhappy with the job, but just bearing it out because it's like the best you're going to get. I have 2 kids right now.
This was the 9 to 5.
It's 9 to 5, so no more shift work. So I take the job and I last, but then I find out I'm pregnant with Dani. So I'm like, oh, I'm going to be going on mat leave anyways.
See, I find out. Like,
well, they're planned, but it's like...
The same thing, start trying in November because we want an August baby.
Yeah. So we start trying, and it happens. Like, guys, I get pregnant easily. You just, on me and I'm pregnant. So I find out I'm pregnant with Dani. I'm like, okay, yes. So I'm going to go on mat leave again, and then I'll just search for a job, and I'll get something new. That didn't go as planned. This is where it gets crazy. So I'm pregnant, and I'm looking for homes. Now, this year is the year that the housing market just skyrocketed. Like, I can't afford anything. We can't afford anything. We're looking. We're hunting, we're thinking, let's go an hour away. Let's go this way. I'm like, no, I don't want to go. My mom's here. I want to stay close to my mom. My mom helps with the kids. Like, I know the city. Like, Amaya's dad's here. Like, there's so many factors that come into play. Greg's like, you're not going to find anything. Like, we should stop looking. Like, I'm getting depressed. I'm like, I don't want to stay.
It was like the right thing will come in the right time. But the push that we're making, like, literally living on the computer, like, refresh, next, like... Man, how many houses we put offers on? Like 4?
Yeah, it wasn't that many.
It was a few for sure.
Yeah.
And it was like settling. None of them felt like this will do. It was like, okay, based on the market, we can get by with this one.
Yeah.
But here's the most I'll pay for it. And some of these houses were going for like 200,000 over asking in the end. It was insane.
Guys, like...
Because they weren't worth what they were asking.
Honestly, guys, like a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom townhome, which should normally be about 200,000. Here in Ontario, right now, it's like 600,000. It's like so expensive to be here. So I couldn't find anything because for a decent house, you're at least paying over $500,000 for the home. But I was so determined I wouldn't give up. Like, I'm at work and I'm looking for a house and I'm talking to my colleagues. I'm like, I just need a house. I just need a house. Anyways, Dani's born in August. I still don't have a home. He's sleeping in our master bedroom anyways for the first little while. And I continue looking for a home and bang, I find one. So basically our real estate agent, I find the house and I'm like, I want to see this house. And he takes us to see it. I'm like, this one will do. This will do. Like, I was grateful for whatever came across.
It's a good location. It's like, it has all the minimum requirements, right?
Yeah, where we are now. I'm like, no, I want this house. We look at the house together, me and Greg, Dani's a baby. I'm like, yeah, this will do for now, and then, you know, we'll just save up and we'll go somewhere else. We
kind of lucked out because the way the selling realtor was handling it.
Yeah.
It was just a really messed up situation. It was weird. The house wasn't the house online. Like,
didn't match what?
It wasn't the front of the actual house.
Yeah, it was really weird.
It was a different house. There was a whole bunch of things that just weren't listed. It didn't, anyways.
Yeah. And I remember it was Labor Day weekend, we got the call to say that.
There was language barriers and stuff.
Oh, it was terrible. The only thing that mattered is we got the house in the end, and I was so happy and relieved because the house that we were previously at, Amaya didn't sleep. She was 4, but those 2 years that she was there, the poor kid, she would not sleep. She's paranoid. There's an old lady outside my window. So Greg oftentimes would have to go and lay in bed with her, or she'd run to our bed. You'd hear down the hall. Oh, another nightmare. The first night in this house, she slept like a baby.
Yeah, she's constant nightmares in that place.
Yeah, I don't know why.
She's like, I hear her in her rocking chair.
Oh my gosh.
What
so
are you
creepy.
talking about? But
she felt the vibes, you know? Like, kids feel vibes.
Weird. But yeah, anyways, that wasn't something that happened, so.
Yeah, so then we moved here. Danny was 3 months because our official move-in date was the end of November of 2017. So December 1st we were here.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, so we started here, and then it's been good little neighborhood. But we're outgrowing the home again, and we're looking to hopefully move in the near future. So that's pretty much where we were. Where we are now, we're here working on this YouTube business, and we have another little project going on. We'll announce it soon, but not just yet. But here's another little interesting story. So Greg, tell them about this story.
Okay, so this project that we're working on takes us into territory we have not been before. Much like YouTube in the beginning. We're trying to find the right people to work with to bring this dream to life. There's a lot of research going on trying to find the right people, and then you think you find somebody.
You think.
And you have that business call after emailing back and forth and that sort of thing, right? Let me tell you, there's so many people out there. You start to appreciate the difference between people who are doing the thing on their own side hustle, we'll call it, or entrepreneurship versus like working for a firm, and then us dealing with that firm versus dealing with that person working on their own. So our first experience, we had been emailing this person. They already have an overview of what the project will be. When we finally call him, he doesn't believe we're us. He thinks we're lying, or he thinks it's a prank. First, he said he's not 100% sure he can do what we want him to do. And like, well... That
percentage kept increasing.
It was like...
Near the end.
90%, 95%. There's that 1%. I'm like, dude.
Can you do the job or not?
Yeah, I'm not going to hire you if you can't do the job. Your resume said you could do these things.
People be lying.
And then he's like, well, I can't really do that. I'm not so comfortable with it. But it's on your resume. It was actually in our post, and we just... Man. I come from a perspective of the right thing will come in the right time. Just work towards it, but don't stress. Don't force it. It's going to come. Where Chantel is like, all about the action. She's like, go, 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 research and research, like, let's do this, what is it about this, and trying to come up with all the possible options.
I just like to keep busy, guys.
Yeah, you do, but, and explain, like, all that work you did was for nothing, because as soon as we talked to this person, it set us in the proper direction. I keep saying everything we do is through networking. All the people I know from, like, clients from the past, there's always somebody who I can give a call and ask a question to who can give me a connection. Like, there's got to be somebody we know who can help us with this project.
Mm-hmm.
And then Chantel here remembers, like, oh my gosh, I know somebody who does this stuff.
I said, I think.
Okay, I think I know somebody. Like, if you do,
yeah.
We've been doing all this stuff for nothing.
It has been 6 years since I've hung out with this individual, so I couldn't remember what they did, but I remember at the time when I used to work out with this person. And I remember them telling me, oh, they're doing something related to what I wanted, so I wasn't sure that they were the ones actually had first hands on the project. I just knew that they were in the same type of field. So when I asked them, hey, do you do this? It's like, yeah, what you're asking, I do that for a living. I'm like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, would you mind just answering a few questions for us?
Yeah, he was able to give us a wealth of information.
The conversation we had with him, like, same thing, we did the email, sent him the same information we had sent the previous person we'd spoke to, and it was, what do we need to start building this project in the right direction? And how long were we on the phone with him for? Maybe half an hour?
Yeah.
But the amount of information he gave us, like, this is exactly what we needed. Helped us plan the whole thing properly, gave us all the, you're gonna need to know this, you're gonna need to know that, you're gonna wanna find this person, that person, and he just turned into sort of a consultant, and it gave us all that information that we've been trying to research for, and Chantel forgot about him.
No,
But
I never forgot about him. I just couldn't remember what I'm like, I'm not sure if he does this, but he may have a connection.
And
because I really couldn't remember.
But how useful was it? As soon as we remembered
Super
that
useful.
connection, that it just pulled everything together. And again, no force. No, I gotta find something. I gotta find something. No push. It just came. It's like, you know what? Wait a second. I gotta look at an old phone for this guy's number. Let's try and reach out and see. And that was it.
No, for sure. So, like, shout out to you, Matt. Thank you so much. We're so appreciative. All right, guys. So we got half the head done. How's it looking? I can't really see it.
It's looking not terrible.
Well, that's all that matters.
I think I'm out of practice.
It's practicing in my head.
Because seriously, I think the last time I did hair was when we did How We Met.
Yeah, that was just 2 braids though. And my hair was like curly. It wasn't like this.
Yeah. Like this is, I'm finding it's loose and it wants to fall out easily, right?
I haven't had my hair Cornrowed in a long time. I can't even tell you when last. Trying something new. Okay, so basically we got information. We're going to tell you guys about the project a little later when it's time. It's not time yet because we're still like in the development stage. So we're trying to put things together and we're so excited to be able to share the story with you in the near future. So man, we went from subsidized housing to having nothing, catching buses, to having babies in nursing homes,
oh
getting another job, master's degree. Oh my gosh, we've been through so much. 9 years together.
Yeah, but we're growing every single year.
We are. We're currently still in lockdown.
It's the end of May 2021 and we are still in lockdown here in Ontario. It's so weird. I think being cooped up in the house for too long is starting to catch up to all of us though, you know?
Yeah. It's actually quite scary. Like the kids just like I need to get out. I need to get out. Like they're on us to get outside, but they don't even realize that. And I think we've mentioned this before, but when they're being homeschooled here, we're working. As kids, they don't get that we have to work. So they're seeing all the behind the scenes. So they get their break, they get their recess, and they come and they want to go outside. I'm like, we can't take you outside. Like I'm legitimately working right now. Like I can't leave. I'm in the middle of something. So with this new business, YouTube, and our other side hustle, it's definitely been a learning curve. Like learning anything new, you try to watch and see how other people have done it so you get an idea. But until you do it, you won't learn. And when you do it, you're thrown to like the wolves to learn.
But it's one idea sort of leading to the next and it just keeps growing on itself. So
yeah,
it's like the next step. It just makes sense. This is what we do now. This is what we do now. We keep going in that direction, right?
Yeah. Like I'm so grateful for Greg. Greg has always been like the same type of guy. Like when I met him, we're so different. I was just talking to him about that earlier. I'm like, you know what, babe?
So different.
We're just so different. Like you're so chill, calm, and whatever, and I'm just so lively. Not all the time.
You need naps.
Yeah, I have my downtimes. But we are different. Like we're different in our own ways, but we complement each other at the same time. Super appreciative that you're able to do this for me.
It doesn't take long.
Yeah, it does take long, but I mean, you're not practicing all the time either, right? So it is what it is. But the fact that you're able to do it is a true blessing, and I'm so proud of you.
But mostly working with Amaya.
Amaya's been super patient with Greg because it was like those videos, we compressed them into like 20 minutes, but it took Greg like how long?
Hours. Because sometimes I even had to start and redo if I was like messing up something and not like, oh man, you know what, I'm just not getting it or it's not tight enough. Or
right.
But Amaya was patient.
Oh yeah, she was.
I would just like to fly through. I see people do. See professionals on here.
Yeah.
Watch.
Takes practice.
Chantel does it blind. She's
Yeah,
like,
but I'm a
just do it
female
like
and
this.
I've been doing it like how long? The fact that you're able to do it is a skill. It takes time to develop that skill.
So being in lockdown for so long, like we're going on to, I don't know, I'm losing track of how many weeks it's been. It's been like 6 weeks or something.
Yeah, since April 8th, I believe.
It's way too long. Like understanding like the weird world we're living in, where the only reason to leave your house is to pick up something, an essential item or essential items. That's it. You can't go shopping. You can't, like Amaya's outgrowing all her clothes and we can't go to a store and let her try things on.
Yeah.
That's not an option. And like, what kind of time is this that we're living in? And you start to get cooped up feeling like you're in the house all the time. And then they tell you, hey guys, it's just going to be a little while longer.
Guys, here we don't even have much of a summer. By the time we get out, summer's over.
The weather just started getting nice just the last couple days.
Mm-hmm.
So the kids can actually go outside and play. Because it's been like rainy and cold all of May.
Today was nice and hot though.
Today was 29 degrees. That's like 86 Fahrenheit.
Yeah, the weather just like jumped.
Oh, yeah.
Like went from cold to that in a week. Days actually.
Yeah, it's like a different time. Kids want to get outside and you get them outside and they want to do something else and something else and something else and they just want to get away from the house. We would always go to the park. We'd always go on walks. We'd always go on like the trail. And now they've outgrown their bikes. We can't get new bikes. Yeah, that's what's happening right now. They even have like the soccer fields are locked down. I think in the Instagram I showed a picture of the basketball court. We're trying to get Amaya to start basketball. And she was actually supposed to start basketball camp right before we went into lockdown. That's in, what is it, will you surprise her?
Yeah, we'll put the link up here.
And then that weekend, that was it. So we're at the basketball court and find out they have the nets actually blocked off so you can't play. Got bylaw officers kicking kids out of the soccer field.
Oh yeah.
Keep hearing these stories, but they say just a few more weeks and they'll start opening these things up again.
It's so crazy.
Yeah, this is a very different time. So right now we're dealing with kids doing virtual learning at home. They're still in school, right? And trying to get their education through electronic devices.
Which doesn't always go well.
And yeah, it's totally not the same. If you're not with them like over their shoulder constantly checking in, they're not going to stay on task, especially a 5-year-old and a 9-year-old. It's work. I know, like, speaking to other people who are working from home, they're having the same issues that when you're at work, you get a break from work. You get your lunch and you get to just go chill. But when you're at home, there's no breaks.
Never.
You get your break from work and you're just jumped into home life and the stuff that needs to be done and your kids asking you questions and I need help with this and that's causing a whole lot of stress for a lot of people right now.
Yeah.
That really takes its toll.
I'm gonna take a little video here.
No.
Yes,
I don't want close-ups of this.
Hey.
How are you gonna do that? You gonna try and hold it up above your head?
I'm just gonna see what you're doing.
Oh, man. Do you want to see what I'm doing?
Yeah.
My instructor would always say, you gotta do it finer, you gotta use less hair to start. You gotta make it really small and really tight. These are skill sets you can learn when you have a West Indian family. Dude, if your girl knows how to braid, it doesn't take much to learn. And I used to make excuses like my fingers are too fat and that kind of stuff. I used to think that, I'm like, your fingers are so fine, of course you can work through the hair like that. But then after she started showing me how to do it, it took a bit to grasp.
You got it.
Yeah, because you're like, you just do it like this, and you would try and explain it and just, and I have to keep watching you watch what your hands were doing over and over. Like, what are your hands doing?
But now you're a pro.
Well, I wouldn't say I'm a pro, but
well, you just
I'm capable of doing something more than the average person, that's for sure. Dads, if you have daughters, I think it's the coolest thing. I think they do too, when dad can do daughter's hair.
I think it helps a lot.
Oh, for sure. Just getting things done around the house, being able to share.
Yeah. Like if I'm like doing something and I don't know, like for example, today Jasmine wanted to go outside, although you didn't do it. I'm like, can you just like braid her hair? Because I know he can do it, just a plait, like one big plait down her back. That's how she usually has it.
Mm-hmm.
The fact is you can totally do it.
Yeah.
I did it because you were gardening, but it's nice to have someone be able to do the exact same things you're able to do when caring for your kids.
Yeah.
So you know that.
You can't do it,
yeah.
you know, hey, can you just do this quick while I'm doing that other thing?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Guys, it's been a while since I've had cornrows like this in my hair. The last time I had cornrows like this in my hair was, I think I did it when Danny was born. But like myself, I braided it myself. But before that, man, I was young, like Amaya's age. Yeah.
I don't know if it's my technique, if I could actually speed it up if I did things a little differently.
Yeah, but you get there after like practicing for so long, you're like, oh, you just do this. Like your fingers just know exactly what to do and you don't even worry about it. But I mess up too. Like sometimes when I'm doing Jasmine's hair or Amaya's hair, I'll mess up.
But it's just a do-over, right?
Yeah. With their hair, I don't know, because within minutes after doing it, they're gonna mess it up, right? So it's just, I just braid it to look decent. Because I'm no hairstylist myself.
Whatever.
No, honestly.
You make these girls' hair look nice. Danny's hair even, come on. No.
I just plait his hair. I don't do anything with his hair other than plait it.
And you do a fantastic job because it looks so clean. It looks good.
Guys, Greg's gonna have to do a video doing Danny's hair. That's what you guys haven't seen. Comment down below if you want to see Greg do Danny's hair. He can just plait it. He doesn't have to do Cornrows, but maybe just plait it for him. Come on, guys, comment down below. Comment, give some likes, and we'll get Greg to do a video. It's never done Danny's hair.
I just watched you do it, so I'm like, oh, I could do that.
It's not braids, it's just big plaits because we're growing out his hair, right? So we just plait it. It's whatever. His hair's so beautiful. I love it. Lately, he's been saying to us when we ask to put it up, I'm like, Danny, let's just put your hair up because society's like, oh, he looks like a girl, although we try to keep him in very boy-dominant clothing. My mom says, because my mom will take him to the park. It's like, oh, he looks like he's a girl. So.
Because of the hair? Like, come on,
but man. Look at everything else. I'm like, he's wearing like Batman t-shirts, red shoes. He totally looks like a boy. To me, he looks like he has a masculine face.
Yeah, to me, he's like, get past the hair. That's like a stereotype. Say boys have to have short hair, girls can have long hair.
Yeah,
He has beautiful hair.
And he can rock his hair however he wants.
And he loves it, so we'll let him keep it.
Yeah, so guys, we'll ask all the time, like, let us put it up. Like, Danny, let me put it up here. He's like, no, I like to leave it down like a boy. Like, he'll always say that. I'm like, you know what? Fine, you're right. You want it down?
He likes the way it feels. He does this and it's like clunk, clunk, smack.
Oh my gosh. I couldn't picture him without hair, guys.
I know, because when you put it in a pony and you hold it back and just try and picture him, like, imagine that's what his hair, like.
I don't want to imagine it.
No.
I love Danny and his hair.
He has beautiful hair, so.
I'm just going to take care of it for him. And the day he says, Mom, I'm cutting it, it will be his decision. I'm going to make him make the decision
because I think he's going to be, well, he's already the cutest kid, but when he gets to that age when it has that length and he can make those decisions and style it himself.
Yeah.
And the same goes with Jasmine. We give her the option. Like, do you want to cut your hair? You don't have to keep. Her hair has never been cut except for when she took the scissors herself.
Yeah, we'll post that right here.
Same with Amaya. She's only had her hair cut once. We cut Amaya's hair once to just sort of even it out. Jasmine cut her hair once because she got scissor happy and she saw it on a show or something. Danny has not yet cut any of his hair.
Not yet. Sorry. I'm just doing a TikTok as we do this. Greg is such a man, guys. Oh my gosh. He can do like everything. What can't you do?
Yeah, I think we've had that discussion. You realize... You
can knit if you wanted to.
You realize at some point that you can be good at anything you want to be good at. You just give your attention to it.
Those side hairs, guys. Oh man, it's tight. It hurts.
I'm trying to like be as gentle as I can there.
It's not really you. It's just the hair on the sides are like a lot thinner, and just this, like the sides are just tender. So it like hurts.
That's our stories. That's what's going on. That's 9 years of us.
In a nutshell. But we have like a lot of videos. I shouldn't say a lot, but we have a few videos on the channel that we'll post cards. So if you guys are interested to hear our story, you can go back. I'm sure every time we told the story, there's just a little bit more added to it. Because we won't always remember. And every time we tell the story, it's same, but then there's like a little bit of details that get added, which is interesting.
Yeah. So you have to go way back here, like the Jasmine story.
Yeah, because Jasmine was born in 2015. Danny 2017.
But there are pregnancy videos. We went through Danny's.
Danny. So the channel started when I got pregnant with Danny. It started with him in 2017. Amaya was born in 2011. So she's my first baby. But lots happened since then. Ooh, are we done? Ooh. Gosh, guys, it's tight. Oh. It's tight. Definitely.
You look cute like this. I like the 6 cornrows. That looks nice. Alright, so I'm just gonna try and finish the baby hairs here.
Because it's not done without that, right?
Yeah, I just wanna line up your edges.
Just do like, not too much. I don't like it when it's too thick. No, that's fine. Yeah, I just like a little
slow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Guys, I gotta get a TikTok of this.
You're full in that battery.
Yeah, I need a phone. My phone's literally gonna die. No, don't die on me. So can I have the mirror, please? I want to see this final product of yours. Yeah. I can rock that for a day or two. We'll see how, when I put my stocking on, how that lasts. But yeah, it's pretty good.
That's my first time doing your hair straight.
Yeah.
Because last time it was natural, and it was definitely different for me to work with.
So let me give you guys a close-up. Can you guys see that? Little baby hairs. And then let me turn around for you guys. Give you guys a 360. So front. So I think you did a great job. So at least I can keep my hair like this for a few days. I don't even have to comb it. When I take it out, it'll be like nice and crimpy. We'll see how that goes. I like it.
Right. I'm glad you're happy, babe.
Yeah, I am. Thank you so much. Aww. Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
Thank you. You're such a sweetie. Alright guys, so that was our 9-year story. It's our anniversary, May 23rd. I'm so blessed to have Greg. He's only been such an amazing support system, and watching us grow here on YouTube is such a blessing. We were able to tell you guys like where we were, where we are now.
I appreciate you so much.
And
you
where
say
we're
too many
going.
good things.
But you do too. Yeah, so you guys are now on this journey with us, and we thank each and every one of you that has subscribed and is coming along, because where we're going, we have big goals and we want to share it with you guys, and we're hoping to inspire each and every one of you out there to go and achieve your goals. And thank you so much for
live your best life.
Yeah, live your best life. It's so great. Don't ever quit. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Like, be a go-getter and go get it. But guys, before we leave out tonight, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell, because we don't want you to miss a thing. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next video. Bye.
Bye.